Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, 100% Pure Elvis. Before I go on to my review of 3 books that I've got in front of me, I want to share with you all a story growing up as an Elvis fan. So as you all know, growing up in my family, we were surrounded with Elvis music, Elvis movies. My mum adored Elvis and she still adores Elvis to this day. There was no getting away from Elvis. He was everywhere. And my older brother, who has sadly passed away, another Elvis fan. And again, you began to appreciate Elvis and what he stood for. And again, I was the one that really started to get to want to know every little detail about this guy. And my mum really didn't know a great deal about Elvis. You know, all she knew was the songs, and she would play her favourites. You know, I would never get to see the wider picture of Elvis or the wider career of Elvis. And the sort of person that I am, I want to gather as much information as I possibly can. So growing up with Elvis in the background and Elvis being an influence in the household, when I left school, I went straight into work and I started earning a wage. And that is when I knew I wanted to start collecting Elvis. I wanted everything on him. I wanted CDs, I wanted the VHS, I wanted the magazine, I wanted everything that was all about Elvis. So, and whenever I heard a song that I hadn't heard before, because as I said earlier, growing up, my mum would only play certain Elvis songs. You wouldn't hear an Elvis album. All you would hear was the same songs like Suspicious Minds, Burning Love, the early songs. You wouldn't get to hear a variety of Elvis songs. And I'm not blaming my mum for that, because I think my mum just really liked the core hits that Elvis released. My mum wasn't an Elvis album person. She wouldn't go out and buy an Elvis vinyl in her day. My mum is now 83, by the way. But when I started collecting Elvis as a hobby, I wanted as much information as possible. And if I heard a song, I always want to know, when was that recorded? What year was that recorded? When was it recorded? You know, what other songs was recorded in the studio on that day? So first thing I started doing was collecting Elvis books. So these 3 books that I'm going to share with you are a font of information of Elvis's recording career. And the first one is the one that I've had longest in my collection of these type of books. And it is Elvis, The Music Lives On, The Recording Sessions 1954 to 1976 by Richard Peters. And it's like a thin book. But what I remember buying this book, and I was in awe of, you just go to, I wonder, did he record a song on my birthday? I wonder, did he record a song on certain special days? And I always had this at hand. So whenever I heard an Elvis song that I didn't know much about, straight away, I'd go to that book, look at it. Right, when was that recorded? What album was it recorded for? What other songs were recorded on that day? So it was like a font of information. I wanted it in me so it can stay. So if anyone asked me a question, oh, Mark, when was that Elvis song recorded? When, you know, what album did he record that for? Hopefully, I could just tell them the answer straight away. And my older brother, who was an Elvis fan, obviously as well, he wasn't he wasn't as knowledgeable as myself. He was just quite shocked. He was like, "Oh, Mark, you know, why do you want to know all this information?" Because I just wanted to. Because I wanted to know everything about Elvis, and I wanted to learn every aspect of his career. The next book has to be my favourite out of the 3. Elvis Presley, A Life in Music The Complete Recording Sessions by Ernst Jorgensen. What a book. It's a thick one. Look at that. And on the back, this is, I think, possibly the rarest out of the three that I'm going to share with you. And again, it has more detail inside than the previous book about each song that Elvis recorded, with some great images. Now, what I am going to be doing over the weekend coming, I'm going to be reviewing these three books and sharing with you all what's inside. But again, for me, it covers every aspect of Elvis's recording career. And for me, when you hear Elvis and you hear an Elvis song and you get asked a question, oh, when was that recorded, Mark? What year was it recorded? And they don't know much about it. I can just say, oh yeah, that was for this album and it was recorded in that year and it was recorded at Stax Studios or another studio, etc. So one thing I'm not very good on, which some of my subscribers will know, sometimes I look at an Elvis image, especially, I think my worst era would possibly be the 1960s in respect of Elvis images. So if someone showed me an image of Elvis from the 60s, I would hope to know what year that is from, and was it a movie still image, or was it for a movie photo shoot, or was it for a gospel album shoot, or etc. But sometimes I might give out the wrong information on that, so I need to get better on that sort of aspect of my knowledge on Elvis. I'm nowhere near where I feel I want to be at. But again, what I love about my channel, whenever I put information out there, I get subscribers come back to me saying, Mark, I'm really sorry, but the year is 1974, not 1975. I just want to thank you for that, because I don't want to give out false information, because sometimes when I'm doing an upload and I don't have that information in front of me, I kind of sometimes say, oh, I think that's a concert image from 1975. It could be from 1974. It could be from 1976. So again, I want to gather all this information myself, and any support you lot can give as my subscribers is more than welcome. The last book that I want to share with you all, Elvis Sessions, the recorded music of Elvis Aaron Presley, 1953 to 1977 by Joseph A. Tunzi. I think this is the rarest out of the three, if I'm quite honest with you. The Ernst Jorgensen book is my favourite, but I think this is the rarest. And let me get closer in for you. I love that image of Elvis on the front cover there. And on the back, a great image from the 1950s. Again, I would say that's 56. And on the front, 69, is it? 69, 70 maybe? Inside, this has more images of Elvis inside. And again, you go to specific dates and it tells you what he recorded. So I'm going to choose the month of my birthday, this month, February. So I'm going to go to 90, let's have a look. Let's see what year I can go to. When I can find it. So I've actually chosen 1965. So February 25th, 1965. Elvis recorded the soundtrack to the motion picture Harum Scarum, and it tells you what songs he recorded on February the 25th. I just chose that at random. February the 25th isn't my birthday, by the way. It's really close to my birthday. My birthday is the 28th. But yeah, I love these three books because they are a font of Elvis recorded information. I adore these books. And again, this one here especially, you just whenever I'm unsure about a song and when it was recorded, this is my Bible on Elvis recorded music, and again, then you just can't get it wrong. What's your feelings on that? You know, as Elvis fans, we all want to know as much information as we possibly can, and I love all collected works on Elvis, and for me, having them sort of books, you know, it's a no-brainer really, because it's got the information at hand that you actually need as an Elvis fan. And again, I go back to them books time and time again. So again, I want to finish off by saying, you know, thank you for taking the time out to listen to my story. And again, for me, I learn about Elvis every day of my life. I learn something different, and there's some Elvis soundtracks or there's some Elvis albums that I tend not to listen to a great deal. But since I've started my channel, 100% Pure Elvis, in June of last year, you know, some subscribers have said to me, please return to that album and listen to it again, or please return to that movie and watch it again, because some of my least favourite Elvis albums are mainly from the movies. I think some of the movie soundtracks could be stronger. I'm not saying they're weak, but I think some of the songs that he recorded for some of the soundtracks wasn't as high quality as previous or after. And I have done that since I started this channel, and I do have a new respect for certain films. For instance, I had one of my subscribers come back at me, not in a negative way, but they got back at me and says, why am I so negative about the movie Double Trouble? I think it's because I've possibly seen Double Trouble only 3 times, I would say, and all 3 times I've watched Double Trouble, I really struggle with the movie. I really struggle with the acting in it. I really struggle with the storyline. I actually don't mind the soundtrack. Again, I don't like, I mean, where they've got Elvis singing Old MacDonald, it just, don't get me started on that. I think it's a weak soundtrack album, I must admit, but it's not poor, but it's not one of his best by any stretch of the imagination. And again, people also, I've had some subscribers, some of my subscribers say, why don't I talk about more of Elvis in the 50s as well? That's not intentional. I think for me, again, I want to start doing every part of Elvis's career. So what I will do also going forward is I'm going to spend some time doing the uploads for the 1950s movies and soundtracks and album releases, and then I'll do the 60s and then 70s, because for me, I don't want to come across negative, because I love every aspect of Elvis. Elvis is a constant in my life, and what I mean by that is, you know, I'm happily married to my husband, but for me, growing up in a household with Elvis, you know, there's a lot of love in the household, but, you know, but being a gay man as well, it was quite difficult, because I held a lot in. My confidence wasn't the best, and I put Elvis on, and obviously, you know, even when I was getting older, into my 20s, you know, I didn't deal with my sexuality, but when it come time to deal with how I felt and about how I wanted to be, Elvis was a great support mechanism, because I'd have bad days, I'd have good days, and you'd put Elvis on, or put a movie on, and it got me through. And always be a constant in my life. And, you know, my husband appreciates my love of Elvis. He doesn't understand why people get so infatuated. I mean, I'm not infatuated with Elvis. I respect Elvis, and for me, he is the person in my life that I feel has had one of the biggest influences in my life thus far. So again, for me, being an Elvis fan, growing up, and now I'm turning 51 soon, I'm just in a place where I'm surrounded with the love of my family, with the love of my husband, collecting Elvis, got my channel up and running, all down to you for all of your support, and I'm going to keep on going. Anything that I can do to make this channel better, to make it better for you as well as my subscribers, please let me know in the comments below. But less about me, back onto the books. If you don't have these books in your collection, I'd get this one. I have looked online, and this is the paperback copy. Obviously you can get this in hardback and paperback. This is around £50. And this has the most information inside. Absolutely, it's a mine of information. This one here, again, around about £50. That is Elvis Sessions by Joseph A. Tunzi. And the last one, which is the one I've had longest, is the cheapest in my collection. I've seen this online for £25 to £30. Again, it does have the information you need inside, but it's not as in depth. So thank you for returning back to my channel, 100% Pure Elvis. The vinyl behind me here is the French-Canadian vinyl to the movie Blue Hawaii, which I will be uploading probably tomorrow now, so please keep a lookout for that. And as I always say, thank you for all of your support. It really makes me happy. And if you're sitting there watching my channel and you enjoy what you've seen, but you haven't as yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a massive thumbs up. Helps make my channel grow. And as I always say, please keep Elvis close to your hearts. Please keep on playing his music, and love to you all. Speak soon, everybody. Bye-bye.